movies,
music, and monsters.
Danger.
Hey my friends, Dan Monroe here from Movies, Music, and Monsters with a super quick but super fun video about something I recently acquired, Lost in Space robot related, and I was just so freaking excited I had to share it with you guys. As you know, I collect all kinds of TV and movie memorabilia, and the crown jewel of any collection, obviously, is something that you can screen match to any particular show or film. Literally being able to say, hey, see this? That's that thing right there. But unfortunately, with my two favorite franchises, Star Wars and Lost in Space, the Star Wars stuff is just way too freaking expensive, and having an original piece of something from the set of Lost in Space back in 1965 is so rare, it's almost impossible to achieve until this week. But hang on, I'm getting there. I can hardly stand the suspense. Now, I do already have two pieces in my collection from the Lost in Space TV show, one of them being a light lens that was used on the original cockpit of the Jupiter 2 flight console, which is actually on my robot because they were the exact same lights. So I thought, what better way to show off a Lost in Space collectible than to put it right there on my robot? So there it is. Well, what do you know? I was not aware. How cool is that? Very cool. And the second piece of screen-used memorabilia is not really Lost in Space related, but it's definitely robot related. I have the original chest panel that was used on the TV show Mystery Island when the robot was converted from the way he looked in Lost in Space to the way he looked on that show. I mean, no, this panel wasn't on Lost in Space, but it certainly was on the hero robot for a whole ton of years. In fact, this chest panel was part of what Kevin Burns saw back in the late 1980s when he rediscovered what was left of the original hero robot in Fox storage before having the suit restored by legendary prop maker Greg Jean. Enough already. Get on with it. Today was a glorious day. As you know, there were two robots used in Lost in Space. The original hero robot that Bob May was inside of, and then for the third season, they created the long-distance or stunt robot, an extremely lightweight shell made mostly of fiberglass and a material called teakwood for stunt shots or special effects shots. You see this particular robot a lot in the episodes Condemned of Space, Flight into the Future, The Antimatter Man, Junkyard in Space, as well as many others. And after the show, this stunt robot basically fell into complete disrepair. One of my earliest memories of seeing this robot was reading Starlog magazine. There was a photo of it all smashed up, which at the time my brother and I thought was actually the real hero robot, but it wasn't. It was the stunt robot. These photos literally want to make me cry. No kidding. Anyway, this robot traveled around for years and was owned by prop builder Greg Jean. It was then auctioned off in 2003 at a Profiles in History auction, still in pretty bad shape. But then in 2004, master robot builder Fred Barton, the robot guy, was hired by the gentleman who won the auction to restore it. A few months ago, I did a video all about what happened to the stunt robot from Lost in Space. Check it out. But while Fred was restoring this stunt robot, there were certain parts of the prop that were either, I don't know, just too delicate or too fragile to be included in the restoration, or pieces that sadly had deteriorated almost completely, but still super cool and absolutely 100% screen used on Lost in Space. Well, a couple of days ago, I got a box in the mail from Fred Barton himself, and when I opened it, I could not believe what I was looking at. Parts of the original long-distance stunt robot from Lost in Space. This is the donut section of the robot, which could be seen just above the legs and below the torso. On the original Hero prop, this was a very hard fiberglass, but on this stunt robot, to keep the weight of the prop down, it was simply a piece of flexible foam, kind of like pipe insulation cut in half, if you know what I mean. So awesome that the original silver paint is still on it right from the show. This is a real piece of Lost in Space robot history. Come on, how cool is that? Now, the second thing I was sent, and it's a little bit sad, so prepare yourselves, the original long-distance robot arms in unbelievably terrible condition, because that's simply what happens to rubber over the years. It deteriorates. I mean, in comparison, here are the original Hero legs from the suit that Bob May wore in the series. I mean, they're gone. There's literally nothing left, and these arms share the same fate. But when looking at photos from the mid to late 1980s, you can clearly see that even at that point, the arms were beginning to deteriorate. And here's a photo of the arms just prior to its auction in 2003, again in a pretty bad state of deterioration. But the most important part was these were the arms that we saw on Lost in Space. Here they are on the show. Despite their condition, they are part of my personal Lost in Space collection, and I absolutely freaking love them. This is probably my favorite piece, one of the sections of the robot's treads, which were hard rubber in the original Hero suit, but again, to keep the weight of the stunt robot down, these were literally styrofoam. Extremely fragile, lightweight styrofoam, if you can believe that. But again, these are pieces of the actual stunt robot, as seen here on the show and seen here on the show and again here, and now part of my collection. Pieces of Lost in Space robot history simply not only blows my mind, but makes me so proud as a fan. I can hardly contain it. So, thank you, Fred Barton. You are the man. Well, guys, I have got some super freaking cool information about an upcoming event in Beverly Hills, California, this coming April 22nd. Literally a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity regarding, probably, in my opinion, the greatest sci-fi movie ever made, Forbidden Planet. But don't let me hog the spotlight with all the wonderful details, my friends. Robbie the Robot.
Welcome to Altair 4, gentlemen. I am Robbie the Robot. I am monitored to direct you to the Fine Arts Theater in Beverly Hills, California, this coming April 22nd at 8 p.m. for a special once-in-a-lifetime screening of Forbidden Planet. This restored classic is being presented in CinemaScope and striking Eastman color and DCP projection. This just staggers the imagination.
Thanks to Fred Barton Productions, Robbie will be appearing live on stage, giving a special talk all about the super cool secrets and tons of behind-the-scenes stuff.
Pardon me, sir. Stuff?
Sorry, Robbie, just trying to get into the spirit of it all.
I'll be dishing all the dirt on Morbius and the crew of the C-57D and revealing riveting facts like how much rocket bourbon did Cookie really drink, what was Morbius like after hours, his favorite casseroles, and Altara's endless wardrobe.
Now, keep in mind, this is not a reimagining of the film.
This is the real deal. After all, I was there, and now you will be too.
And if that wasn't enough, this Flights of Fantasy event starts off with 2 restored George Pal Puppetoons, courtesy of producer-director Arnold Leibowitz, who will be also there in person, and your master of ceremonies for the evening will be none other than Maxwell DeMille.
So get your tickets now at sci-fi.biz. It's only $10. You can't even get a Deutronium burger for that.
You know, this is sure to be a complete sellout, and remember, seats are limited.
Bring the kiddies. They'll love to see what 2200 AD looked like in 1956.
So remember, Flights of Fantasy, screening of Forbidden Planet, the Fine Arts Theater in Beverly Hills, April 22nd at 8 o'clock.
So grab your favorite id monster, get your tickets, and I'll see you there.
Well, I really hope you guys enjoyed looking at that super cool robot stuff as much as I enjoyed showing it to you. And if you did and you like this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing to the channel. I've got a whole bunch of new videos coming up really soon that I know you guys are just gonna dig.
And if you'd like to help support the channel, you can always buy us a coffee. Link in the description.
And please feel free to stop back anytime as we continue the conversation on movies, music, and monsters.
Movies, music, and monsters.